What's good, Task Fam?
What's going on? Let me see if I can squeak by here.
I can move.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my YouTube live.
Thanks, bro. What's going on? Let's make sure the audio is looking good. Yeah, I meant to adjust that. It's hard to see it when it's not
I got
on.
it.
Cool. Hey guys, what's going on? This
Should be
is
fairly well-centered.
Mike from 424 Recording. JS, you can
You're just checking out my podcast.
Oh, cool. We got the video going.
Stop looking at my podcast.
Stop looking at my podcast.
Yo,
So
man.
it's available wherever podcasts. It should be within the next. I mean, they said 48 hours, but it seems like it's going to be everywhere now. So I'm planning on getting these edited and up by tomorrow by 8 a.m. So, which
I say get it up whenever you can.
yeah. Oh, nice. That's what she said. That's a good Michael Scott one.
What's up, Coop? What's going on, Will?
What's going on, guys? I don't know what's taking me so long. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, forgot how to do this.
Does it look like the shot is like higher than it usually is?
It seems like the camera is higher, right? Should we lower it?
I get it.
All right, we're going to do some lowering.
All right, it's going to get real shaky for just a second.
Bear with us.
Oh, there's the adaptation.
Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, hey, what's going on, Matt? That's what she said. That he's here. Will's here. Coop is here. What's up, guys? I'm actually watching The Office as we speak. That's awesome. That's like the best show. Jay, have you ever seen The Office?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
It's a good one.
Is that like showing too much of the behind the scenes, do you think?
I think that's good. Yeah, that's cool. Audio sounds good. Check, check, 1, 2.
Yeah, I think that frames it up better.
Ooh, get a little thing. Try the UK version of The Office. Oh, yeah, the UK version's great, too. What's up, Dennis?
Doesn't that have Ricky Gervais in it?
What's that?
The UK version?
What is it?
Doesn't that have Ricky Gervais in it?
Yeah, he's like,
You know,
David Brent, I think.
I always fucking hated Ricky Gervais, and then we just recently watched Extras, which was a show he was in like 2006 or something.
That was like on HBO.
Yo, that
right?
shit is I don't know. It's on Netflix now. That shit is fucking funny though. But he's like the guy that like, I don't know. I kind of don't really want to like him.
How come?
I don't know, because he just seems like a little shit. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, that's his sense of humor.
Kind of seems like a little shit. I guess that's his sense of humor. I don't know. Why don't we fucking with this thing? Because I feel like we can frame this shot just slightly better.
That looks good, man. Yo, Andrew, what's going on? I gotta pop the chat out here.
Yo, pop that chat.
Pop that chat. Yo, so, hey, Andrew, good to see you. Yeah, it's been a bit. I mean, I've been checking you out on Instagram, though. We've been chatting a little bit there, so I feel like we're in constant contact, which is always good.
Multi-track cassette fans.
That's Dennis.
Okay.
He's from Netherlands, right, Dennis?
Oh, shit.
He's got a channel you guys should check out. It's a lot of like 414 stuff. I'm being Porto 02. I don't know, Dennis. Why don't you give him a little briefing on the
Send him a
channel.
little linky poo.
We'll have to make Dennis a mod. But yeah, I think I have Dennis on my Friends and Inspiration sidebar on the channel. So if you go
There's
to
a
the channel,
Friends and Inspiration sidebar?
yeah, you're on it too, man.
Am I?
Yeah, you're the top one.
It's nice that I'm inspirational to somebody anyhow. Oh, are we monetized again? What the fuck is that?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. So there's something special happened. Actually, yesterday, I got an email from YouTube saying that the videos
You're
and
back?
Super Chat's back. So
Nice. I kind of wondered why there was an advertiser
I was gonna see if anybody
at the head of the stream.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it like automatically. I don't know. The whole YouTube thing with the monetization. That was something we were talking about for a while. The channel was monetized, the videos were monetized, and then we were streaming so much to get to the hour watch time, and then they like completely changed the formatting or whatever. So, but anyway, so it all shook out in the end, and we're
Here's
back.
the reggae song with the bagpipes. It's downloading.
Oh, cool. So we want to give them a quick briefing of what this is.
So I work with an Irish punk rock band. They're one of the bands that comes into the studio regularly, and we've been working on some new material, and some of it goes in a little bit different direction. So this will probably sound like shit because it's on the phone, but if it'll play, in fact.
Whoa.
You hear that slap? That
You
shit's hot,
nailed,
man.
you nailed that dub.
And he's got like a weird little banjo line that comes in. It's like slightly out of key and shit. These are rough mixes, but
Oh yeah, there's. I thought that was a saxophone.
so yeah, it's a little messy presently, but that's
That is like.
that dub.
get it,
The
I
dub
get it.
drums are fucking sweet, dude. I love it.
There's an interesting vibe to that, man. It's
I
almost,
really
it also
love it.
has almost like a. I'm not even sure, like the region of the world that I'm hearing out of that. Oh, Dennis is peacing out. All right, Dennis.
All right, Dennis.
1 a.m. Yeah, thanks for coming out, Dennis.
Damn. So this is the other one. This is the one that
Hey, Bobby.
that their talent agent guy is trying to shop off. He wants us to change the chorus a little bit. Oh. For some reason, it won't let me. Well, maybe that worked.
Ricky Gervais. Oh, yeah, we're
Well, that's weird.
Oh, Matt said he finally shipped the knack, the Nakamichi. Did you
Oh,
ever
nice.
ask him how to pronounce it? Your bagpiper guy?
No, I forgot.
That's
course.
probably it.
Of course, I forgot.
Thanks, man. I'm excited to get that. We're gonna definitely make some tapes. I want to do some something cool with that. I want to do some videos on. I've been meaning to do videos. I was looking through some of the old comments and questions. Bless you on the
Thank you.
channel, and a lot of people were asking about mixing down 4-track to like a 2-track deck, and that's always a video I've been wanting to do. And unfortunately, without a deck, it's been kind of tough. So Matt, there's going to be a bunch of videos on that. I appreciate you, my friend, sending that in. And we're going to do some Stereo Master cassette, mix down. So it's going to be cool. Whoa. Media mail again? That's crazy. Whoa, dude. Who's playing banjo? Is that you?
No. I just play guitar on this.
This is crazy, man.
Yeah, this is the new shit, man. This one's called Boobies, Banjos, Bagpipes, and Beer.
Whoa. What's the other one called? The dub one.
Counting other people's sins.
Huh.
There's a Beavis and Butthead sample up underneath that too. Every time it says boobies.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Gonna hit #1 on the Billboard charts with that. Where can they check these guys out?
Alternative Ulster 1, the #1. at bandcamp.com or whatever. .bandcamp.com. This one's not. Neither one of those two are on the
Yeah, that's
Bandcamp
like
yet because they're just rough mixes.
the new stuff, right?
But yeah, but I'll show you. I'll put a link up.
Cool, man.
Excuse me, man.
Cool. Yeah, so I got a bunch of questions in this week for the podcast. So I don't know if you guys have any questions that you want to ask. We can queue them up now.
Why?
We're gonna get ready to record episode number 2 of the podcast. So if you guys are just joining us or haven't joined us in a week or whatever, last week we did the first episode, and it's just 424 recording podcast, and it's available on. Well, I'll get into that when we do the intro for the podcast. But
I, for some reason, cannot comment on the chats.
really,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Try restarting YouTube.
Matt has a what up question for Jay. Awesome.
Yo, what up?
Fire when ready, Matt. We'll incorporate it into
here we go. So I'm gonna put the
alternative Ulster.
Ulster Bandcamp in. Yeah.
So they're like an Irish. What would you say there's like an Irish punk band?
Sort of like Irish punk rock.
Cool.
If you want to hear the alternative Ulster cover that I basically did by myself, and then he put bagpipes on, that's on there.
Oh yeah.
Some of the material is more palatable than others. I obviously always feel better about it when I write the guitar riffs, but there's a lot of songs that I either didn't play guitar on, or he played guitar, or I played whatever his riff was, because that's sort of how the songs were built. Basically, the lazy approach was to just, if I wasn't feeling the tune or whatever, most likely I probably just played whatever his original piece was and let it be that. But
Well, bagpipes are in like one where like key of G or something.
no, bagpipes, you can get an A440 chanter, but in stock form they're what are they? 30 cents sharp or 30 cents flat. 30 cents flat of a B flat.
Oh, okay. But so there's only like one.
There's 9 notes on a bagpipe chanter.
Okay.
But the root is that below B flat deal. So when you play guitar against it, you either capo the guitar or you tune the guitar up, or both. If you tune it up half a step and then capo at the first fret, it usually ends up pretty dead ass. Or in the case of songs like that, I was in standard tuning, no capo, but I'm playing power chords up on the neck. And to play with, the bagpipes, because of its tuning, you sort of have to write around it, and you can't listen to what like the piper will say to me, okay, well, this is, the bagpipe riff is A, C natural, and F natural. Except if you play an A, a C, and an F underneath what that bagpipe riff is, you'll be like out in space someplace, because it's not the same notes. The notes have to be transposed to work.
Interesting.
Even though they're called one thing, it's a traditional, I guess we'll call it ethnic instrument. I don't know what the hell you'd call it, but because it doesn't subscribe to normal musical conventions like we're used to, you sort of have to figure out how to work, sort of like our traditional rock instruments around it. It's like using, he was playing the banjo the other day, and on the second track he put the banjo on, and he was trying to play the notes on the banjo that the bagpipe notes are called. It doesn't work.
Doesn't translate.
Not at all. So I went in there and I played him the guitar riff, and he's picking out notes. He's like, yeah, but that one's an F sharp and you're playing an F. I'm like, yeah, but listen to it.
Right.
I don't care what note I'm playing or what note the bagpipe's playing.
Right.
I want to hear it sing in unison as far as its tonality is concerned. I don't care what the note's called. You can call every note Z. I don't care. It's all about how it sounds.
Oh, David, what's up, my friend?
What's going on, David?
Bobby said, kind of sounded like Real Mackenzie's type vibe.
Yeah, sort of.
All right.
Sort of.
And Matt said he shipped the knock Amici for $10 again, media mail. Hopefully,
nice.
That's awesome, man. That the mail clerks in Mississippi let it fly.
Bobby, the bagpiper, is a big fan actually of the Real Mackenzies and basically every other sort of Irish rock band that has a bagpipe in it. He can name them all off, like, right down the laundry list. And I'm usually just sitting there going, hmm. And then I check him out on the internet and I'm like,
Does it sound like it?
well, like most of those bands are recording with red pipes, which are a digital pipe. The ones that aren't are recording with, you know, $8,000 to $10,000 pipe sets with very expensive synthetic reeds that keep them in concert pitch, like Dropkick Murphys. That's how that's done. So, I guess what we're working on is a little different than the way that commercially it's done. But
Yeah.
what else is new?
I wouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
David said, "Hope you guys are well." Yeah, we're doing pretty well, right?
yeah. I mean, overall, not dead yet. Guess that's good.
Oh, Matt brought us his "What's up with that Jay?" question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We'll do it on the podcast too. He said, "I learned recently that analog music sounds like donkey turd through earbuds, but it sounds better than digital music with over-ear headphones." Jay, what up with that?
Like donkey turds through earbuds, but it sounds better than digital music.
Probably because of the low end, right?
I'm not sure. But it sounds better than digital music with over-ear headphones. Well, I mean,
So yeah, so like those guys.
okay, so the earbud, because of the way that it's constructed and its tiny, tiny, micro, little teeny tiny size, is only actually capable of producing frequencies upwards of something like 200 hertz. So your bass response is going to suffer big time. And if you try to mix so that the earbud bass response sounds amazing, they will sound like absolute shit everywhere you put them. Your mixes, I mean. So with earbuds, what you really want to do when you're mixing is to try to set the EQ curve on the master output for whatever your earbud, iPod mix, whatever is going to be, to compensate for how shitty earbuds sound. I've done that a lot actually with mastering projects. I'll do like like an on-the-go master kind of deal, where you treat the low end differently, the low end differently, so that it doesn't blow out the earbuds and make the whole thing sound like muddy trash. But yeah, over-the-ear headphones can develop more low end, and the difference between analog and digital through a regular set of headphones will come down to the way that the file conversion and the codec affects the sonics of the audio, basically. With every file type, just about, there's some sort of compression that happens in the dither process, whether that's at the studio level or at the mastering stage, or when you turn it from a wave or an AIFF into whatever an AAC format, or whatever the shit is that Bandcamp converts everything to.
I think it's MP3.
It might be, but I think it's fairly low grade depending on your account settings.
Oh, the streaming ones. Yeah.
Some of like, there's mixes that I've done that are out there that people have uploaded themselves on their Bandcamps. I'm like, well, holy shit, it didn't sound anything like that. Like in the car, coming off the, anything.
Do you send them the waves or the AIFs and the MP3s or
Waves, always waves.
That's really odd. 'Cause unless they're like,
But they cook. I mean, you've heard a couple yourself, like
Yeah.
the mixes I did for Anton, that he made his little video out of when I was trying to link them here. They sound like
that's right,
shit,
that's right, that's right.
and that's not. I mean, you've heard those mixes in person.
Sure.
They don't sound anything like that. So
No.
something happens in the codec and conversion with Bandcamp. It happened to the Mr. Blonde EP
And that was
I
like
did.
Facebook. That was Facebook.
That was
Anton
Facebook,
thing
yeah,
too, right?
yeah. So there's some serious like dithering and constraint and compression that's happening to those files when they go up. So that's a big part of the digital format.
David said, I remember being 16 blasting my iPod at 10 all day, long on bus rides. Now, 10 years later, if I did that, I'd be deaf. Yeah, I remember those days too.
Yeah.
I remember just riding my bike with my iPod at pitch black, midnight, blasting it. Those are some good days.
Yeah.
He said,
Earbuds don't really sound good with anything. Like I said, that's sort of, in the masters. Like when I did the Globe Lamp record, like that, her listener base are people who are going to be walking around with fucking shitty Apple iPhone earbuds stuffed in their, you know,
well, I mean, I think a
stuffed
lot of
in their
people do
sound
today.
holes.
That's just
I know.
like,
So that record is explicitly mastered to sound good on a good set of earbuds and a super shitty set of earbuds.
nice.
I have JetBlue earbuds that have no top end and no low end, and then I have the ones that came with the Android, which the low end is pretty damn terrible, but the high end is clean enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So the
using.
final masters were all
Man, I got them
passed
right
through that.
here. I'm
Yeah.
monitoring the audio with them.
Yep.
It is what it is.
But
I mean, they're good for, like small things like this.
the over the ear headphones too. There is a couple different designs. They talk about open back and closed back designs and
Yeah, yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
each one of those designs does something different. Um, Not only to the frequency response, but also to the way that your ears pick up what's going on in the room around you too.
Hmm.
Certain ones, like I think it's the closed backs that tend to be more direct and to block out more of the outside room, whatever. But I could be wrong about that. I'm not
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
like
I'm
a
not sure the
headphone connoisseur.
technology. Yeah, that's interesting
But
too. I don't really know much about that. Like how the headphone technology
I
is.
I do know for sure that Beats by Dre is that. So
Oh,
if you're gonna
okay.
buy headphones, don't buy Beats by Dre.
Yeah, we got some new questions coming in. I'm unsubscribing. Mike, do you ever use any sort of metronome or recording to your four track? What's a good way to monitor tempo while recording? Um, yeah, I mean, I use a metronome. Sometimes I use a drum machine, which is basically a built-in metronome. Obviously, you can put some swing on it, but you could also another trick to do if you want to use a metronome is like a metronome app, and then play along to that. Play your drum beat along to that, and then record to your drum beat. So then the drum beat is to the metronome that you played, and then everything else will be in sync with that.
I think if it were me, I would print my click track either from a phone or from a physical metronome onto, let's say, track
Oh,
four,
that's a
whatever
great
your
idea too.
vocal track is going to be on your
Sure.
cassette machine, so that it's there to guide you through all the other tracks. And then once you print your vocals, you just print over it.
Yeah, that's a great idea too. You could always. The big thing is with the four track is not to record the metronome too hot if you're gonna record over
Yeah,
it
because it'll
because
print through.
yeah. So I think those sound like some pretty good options. We got to start the podcast because we're answering the questions. Oh yeah, game loser. I got AKGs semi wide open. Don't wear out your ears, but they don't bleed into mics. Yeah, I think that's the thing with the open ear ones. I remember having an open ear pair of headphones for a while, and they were great for like listening to stuff like a record player or listening on the
Yeah,
couch. But as soon as you went to record with them, it was like
yeah,
psh, you could
yeah,
hear everything. It wasn't good.
yeah.
Yeah, lay down your drum tracks first. David said, play through the cue or onto a track, but my metronome is very loud and can bleed. Yeah, 244 guy, what up? I should specify when I say over
Oh man,
ear, I'm talking about the small
yeah, you're
ones.
talking about like the wire band ones, the ones that came with like every cassette portable in the 80s and 90s.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember those well actually. And you actually could get different foam pads at the record store, so you could change color if you wanted like yellow ones or whatever. They had that.
Hmm.
Those do not sound especially good for anything, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, those are
Um,
like the ones they give you on the plane. Yeah.
mm, I don't know,
They're like
like
of that caliber, I
the
feel like.
'80s Walkman ones actually were probably a lot better than that. But yeah, I mean
At least like the
for all
the
intents and
foam ends of
purposes,
them
yeah,
remind me of those.
for all intents and purposes,
The aesthetic of them for sure. Some of them were absolute craps. Cool. Yo, what do you guys say? Should we do the podcast? Let's do the podcast. Get this going. That's the beauty of wait, why am I putting these on? That's the beauty of multitasking here. I guess yeah, let's do it. You guys ready? Ready for the podcast? Podcast number 2? Jay, you ready? We've got some good questions from this week.
Did we get mail-in questions?
I do. I have a few
All right.
questions people
All right,
sent in.
so quiet on the set.
Yeah, quiet on the set. I'm gonna oh yeah, you got to do the
What was my intro?
the 424 record. Oh, by the way, I met Carl.
Oh yeah,
this past week.
Carl Weldon. Yeah.
Yeah, I helped him put the screen up. There's like a movie night in town here, and I helped him put that up this week. Introduced myself, I was talking to him a little bit online, so that was cool. But yeah, so you want to do your
One more thing, real quick,
yeah,
Matt.
sure.
Not all of the big over-the-ear ones sound good either. There's you really have to pick and choose. I've had really good luck with AKGs and some of the Sennheisers also. Buyer Dynamics, if you have like $500 for headphones,
Oh
are
my god, yeah.
probably about the best I've personally ever heard. But I think they're DT 990s maybe, they're like a gold, the most comfortable and least bleeding headphones I've ever used. But all right, so
Hold on, let me get
welcome to the 424 Recording Podcast.
Hello and welcome to 424 Recording, a podcast about home studio and lo-fi recording. We're answering recording questions and talking all things music, especially in the punk, grunge, bedroom, and indie rock genres. This is Mike from 424 Recording, and I'm pleased to be joined by Jay the Wizard from Operation Audio and Bohemisphere Studio.
Yo.
What's up, Jay?
What's up, Mike?
How's it going today?
All right, man. We ready to give him some homeschooling?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
We had a couple
homeschooling.
questions come in this week from YouTube. Brian, my friend Brian, sent us one. Got one via email. If you have any questions for the podcast and you're listening to this not during the live stream, we're actually recording this live on 424 Recording YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/424recording. So leave a comment, send an email, 424recording@gmail.com if you have questions, and we'll be sure to answer them on the podcast. So Matt from YouTube, first question comes in. He's been having some issues with patch cables. So I figured this would be a good one to start with.
All right.
Kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm kind of paraphrasing what he said here. He said, "What's the deal with different quality patch cables? I've been having an issue with hiss noise from the cables. Do better quality cables sound better? What constitutes a better quality cable?" Multi-part question, Matt.
All right. Well, I guess I would say that if you are
Because he's been
buying,
having a lot of trouble. He's been
Yeah.
emailing me a lot about these cables that he's been getting and his
well,
scale of
let's
cables.
preface this. Are the cables are they like on a guitar pedal board? Are they patch cables
so
for
they're
studio?
like yep. So they're like patch cables that
Okay.
I guess he wants to use for both purposes. I think he brought
That would be weird and unusual.
seismic
I think,
audio.
but-
Well,
Oh,
I
that's
guess he's
your
not.
first mistake.
I guess he's yeah. That's
Yeah.
what he said too.
So if you buy cables that have molded ends, with a brand like Seismic or some
Hosa.
kind of some of the
I've
Hosa. Actually, I have a lot of
some of
Hosa
this-
in my racks that have lived
it's
a
bigger?
long time.
Dude, I've had
But
such
Hosa-
bad luck with Hosa.
But Hosa, well, if they're good out of the package, they'll last a while. But
I've had ones that are literally die like in the middle of, I don't know, just like I have a pedal plugged in or
Yeah.
something, and
But-
it'll be working one day, and next day I come and it's just like, what happened?
But with the
Pedal's
Hosa
dead.
cables, this is the secret to Hosa cables. Use them in an installation,
Then don't move them.
someplace where they're never getting moved, they're not being unplugged,
Right.
there's no stress on them, and they'll live forever.
Okay, so
But if you're
that's-
constantly plugging and
makes
unplugging,
sense, yeah.
that molded end, there's not enough strain relief there because it's a
Yeah.
hard molded thing. So it puts a hinge right at the end of the strain relief for the cable to hang on and stretch through, basically.
right.
All cable is not
Well, those
created.
molded ends too. Then if something goes wrong with it, you can't fix it.
Well, you cut them off and throw them away. But
Oh, and keep the wire.
well, maybe depends how good the wire was to start with.
That's something else we got to get into. Oh yeah, from the chat, I'm unsubscribing says Hosa equals terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hosa is a great place if you need cheap cables in a hurry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're just so synonymous with like every single music store ever has Hosa
Yeah,
cables.
sure, but-
Everybody, I feel like everybody listening to this, everybody watching the stream,
But I'm not kidding
at
about
some point has probably owned a
Like,
Hosa cable.
the cables in my patch bays. I've I've probably built 2/3 of them, but that other third are Hosa cables. I
Right.
mean, you know,
No, that's true.
they
Like
work.
I had one hooking up my Sansamp
I wouldn't tour with them.
RBI. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on them in any situation where you need cables that aren't going to just be like dead
No,
for no reason.
it's like buying Behringer and expecting, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, like pristine quality. It's just not a thing. But
Well, so what constitutes different cable quality? Like, what makes different cables worth more, or I mean, better quality?
well, there are like oxygen free and ox guard oxygen barrier cables that are
There's a
supposed to
gold
hold up.
plated, gold tipped.
Yeah.
Is that just all marketing? You think?
Well, the gold plating, if it's interfacing gold plating, has less contact capacitance, but it's still running through a copper wire or a tinned copper wire in all cases, so it basically means shit. But cable ratings are, you know, by obviously by gauge. There's a rating for how the shield is done, if it's an all over braid, like a 98% braid, or if it's just a drain wire and a foil shield. There's also a spec for capacitance per foot. You want that number to be as low as possible. You know, it'll be like 2 picofarads a foot or something like that is I think fairly normal.
So there is some difference in cable quality.
For sure, for sure. And you know, if you're making or buying balanced cables, you should be buying star quad wire, either Conair or Mogami or whatever. That's the good shit.
Okay. So
I made guitar cables out of Conair Quad Star, which you're not supposed to do,
how come?
because that's not really what it's meant for. It's too many
It's like
redundant
overkill.
conductors. It's too many redundant conductors.
What
But
does that? What does that mean exactly?
it's a lot of added capacitance on the length of the cable, so you're dropping some high end. But that's the Surmiser live rig. The bass cables and the guitar cables are all made out of
Those
Conair
green
Quad
ones?
Star. Yep, the
Yeah.
green ones and the orange ones. And we've been running those since 2012. And I've only killed one because I smashed the guitar and broke the end off. So I
Right. So that was
trimmed
like
it back and put a new end on it.
user error.
Yeah, I guess if you want to call it that. And Tom did the same thing. He threw the bass one time and broke the end off, so I had to re-end it. But that cable is just about fucking bulletproof. It is the lowest noise, best shielded stuff you could get.
So
But yeah, so low capacitance, highest percentage of all over shield, and stay away from things with molded ends. I've also heard and seen really bad things happen with shit like George L's pedal board
those are like the lava
cable
ones.
kits.
No, something.
No, George L's have like it's an end that slides over the cable, and then you just tighten a screw and it like pinches it down.
Yeah.
So that system is shit. A lot of people have had good luck with it. Most people that I know that I've seen make those cables have run into issues, so it's not worth it.
Now, what about like the ends though? Because I know there's Neutrik makes a couple different types.
Yeah,
That's a
it
big
all
difference
depends.
too.
Not really.
So it's
No,
really
because I mean,
the
like
quality of the cable is
well, the
what,
fucking gimmick is that you know they sell you on the gold plated ends, but what they're not telling you is that most of the ends that most of the jacks that you're plugging those into are lucky if they're nickel plated, brass contacts.
yeah.
Who the hell cares? It doesn't make a difference. You'll pay $5 extra, to have gold ends on something, and
Yeah.
the only place that would be critical is if it was like a AES EBU, like the digital transmission format on an XLR, 110 ohm cables. Those I would use gold pin, but AES also, that standard specs gold pins or gold plated receptacles, so it's meant for that.
Okay, so there is something to all the different. I don't want to say marketing copy, but it sounds like there is something. Because I was under the impression that, I mean, obviously not all cables are created equally, but
Certainly not.
I know. So, for instance, a buddy of mine used to work at Best Buy, and in the Bay there, where they do like the audio stuff, they used to sell certain car audio cables and also
Sure.
instrument cables.
Monster cable and stuff.
Yeah, and the markup, I wasn't going to say what brand, but the markup on those cables was there was a cable that I think they could have, because they worked there, so they would buy things
Yeah.
at cost.
Sure.
The at cost was like $1 for one of those like monster cables, and they were selling this shit for like
Yep.
$40. And that was with like the molded ends.
Well, Monster Cable actually used to use a crimp style end. So the end slid onto the cable, and they had a crimp thing. So it was a non-removable, couldn't be dismantled end.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's like a gold plated tip, and then it's got their little monster like
It
molded
comes with
handle
like
on it.
those. There's like four different color ends that you can switch off. They're like little rubber bands.
They might be now, I don't know,
Oh, okay. This was yeah.
but
I just thought that like after hearing that story and knowing about like
yeah,
I don't know. I just wonder sometimes about cables and
yeah.
and I mean because you can get the HOSA ones and like you said they work, but and applications where you need them for something important.
Well, I mean, in the studio, like I
Their
said, I use
mileage
them
may vary.
for important functions, but they don't ever
But
get
they don't ever
unplugged.
move, so they're not ever.
And they're
Yeah,
strain relieved inside the rack, so
right.
you basically hook them up, and that's about it.
Cool. Well, I hope Matt, that seems like a pretty good.
I mean, I guess so. I would stay away from any of like the cheap bulk cable. It'll all say like made in China or made in Hong Kong or whatever on it. Most of those cables are not tested. The quality control is terrible. The shield is inconsistent, and that's really a big thing, especially when you're talking about guitar pedals. You have a lot of high Z inputs hanging out on that board, and all of those are susceptible
That was
to
my
noise
next.
transmission
Yeah,
because if the shielding is not appropriate.
that's what I was
So
asking Matt too on YouTube was, well, what are you sure it's not something else in your chain that's causing the noise?
if I were you and I were having those troubles, I would, if you're running a lot of boutique boxes, I would see about putting a buffer at the head of your chain and seeing if that helps. Put a Boss tuner in there and wire it through. That'll leave your pedal board buffered, and that should help cut down on at least some of the noise.
Yeah, 'cause I mean I've always used like over the counter.
Also, if you're using a one spot, that's a switching power supply. Those tend to be noisy, and they will, if you have like your power cables running off of one spot close to your signal cables, make sure they cross at right angles. If they're laid side by side or worse, clumped and zip tied together, you're just asking for noise transmission that way. So separate your power cables if they have to intersect audio. Make sure it's doing it at right angles.
Interesting.
And
So
or get a better power supply that's strongly filtered, and then it won't matter as much. My pedal board's a mess, but it's clean. The power is well filtered,
yeah,
so I could zip tie
same with mine too. Yeah.
I could zip tie it all together. It wouldn't matter.
All right, Matt. Well, I hope that answers your questions about or anyone's pressing issues about audio cables. And that's always an interesting topic, just because of the variety of cables available to us. So my buddy Brian, who you guys probably know from the channel, if you're new to the channel or podcast, he's just a buddy of mine in a band called Yellow Rainbow. And so via text, he asks, does Jay know how to fix synths? I have a Waldorf Blofeld module. The problem is I turn it on, start playing, and the moment I stop playing, I hear a whooshing sound followed by rapid clicking sounds. Well, Jay, you don't
I'm
fix
not sure what the
synths,
question is.
right?
Is it a modular synth though? Because he said
He said
module,
Waldorf Blofeld module.
so that sounds to me like it's part of a modular setup,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
which may be a little less SMD and a whole lot less digital.
All right.
So that might be something that is doable for me.
Right. I mean, so because we were talking about this before we even started the stream a little bit about your experience with synths, and most of that stuff you stay away from
Yeah, I mean,
because of the way that it's built.
well, SMD components are notoriously difficult to work with soldering irons, and it's very easy to damage the board, so it's generally not really worth it.
Right.
If you're equipped that way, and I do have an SMD rework station, I'm not interested.
Well,
I don't want to have to
so-
work on things with a magnifying glass and tweezers, so it's kind
Right. And that's something we should mention
That's not
too. Jay
electronics
is
to me.
an amp tech, and so that's always a good question. If you have any questions for Jay or things, if you need to ask him to fix anything or build anything, you can email him at operationaudio@gmail.com. All right, well that's cool. At least we know now that what your deal is with synths in case anybody has any synth questions.
Well, power supply issues are usually fairly simple. Um,
Well,
Broken jacks and stuff is usually bad solder joints. It's not usually that big a deal.
I'll
The
try to get to the
modules,
bottom of that one with him too and see if he's got like. Well, I can Google that
if
really
that's
quick.
I'm guessing that's probably a Euro rack module. I'm gonna step out for 1 second
Yeah,
while I
sure.
find that.
Um. Oh, okay. So it does look like it's some kind of a. It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it connects into a keyboard or a not a keyboard, but like a synth controller, MIDI controller. So I don't know though. It looks like a pretty new device. So that's what Jay's saying about some of the components on like SMD boards. They're just like super small and hard to work on. So um, I guess it's not really something Jay works on or takes a look at. So, but I don't know. Did anybody in the chat ever come across these Blofeld synthesizers? I've never actually seen one of these. I guess it's yeah, that's cool. I guess it's like a little synth, basically like some of these new synths that are coming out that are, a synth that's you just hook up any kind of MIDI controller
So
to.
what is it?
So it looks like this kind of guy. It's like a looks pretty new, a USB type synth or one that you can use like a
Yeah, that's
MIDI
all
controller
digital.
with. Yeah, that's what I was just explaining. It was like it's probably all the SMD
Oh,
components.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Big DSP engine
I don't
sitting in
know,
there somewhere.
Brian. I hate to leave you hanging, bro, but I would say contact Waldorf about that one. That's
Well, let's put it this way: like a whoosh and a clicking sound is probably some sort of logic error that's happening.
Freighter Tater. What up? He said it's completely digital in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Oh, not a module. I think he means it's the desktop model. Thank you, Game Loser. It's a digital synth. Cool.
yeah. There you go.
Oh, and I'm unsubscribing. For some reason, I can't say that. It says lava cables are great for pedal boards.
Yeah, I don't know the lava stuff.
I know that I saw one thing with the lava stuff which seemed cool is you can make your own.
Well, that's how the George L's work too. You just need a scissors and a
Oh,
screwdriver to make
really?
it up. But the George L's worked out like shit. They were terrible.
I have heard good things about lava. So,
Yeah, like I said, I don't know that system. I'll have to look into that.
but so yeah, Brian. Good luck, my friend. Sorry to throw you to wolves on this one, but sounds like you may want to, especially if that's a newer unit. I would say you might want to contact the manufacturer, see what up. They might be able to factory warranty it or send you another one or something. I don't know. Or maybe they have some troubleshooting guide online. So Joshua via email. If you have questions, hit me up 424recording@gmail.com and we'll go through them on the podcast. Said, I'm recording a 4-piece band who want to record live, and I'm trying to figure out how to route inputs and utilize the 424 Mark III in this situation. I have an Art Tube MP that I was going to use with a large diaphragm condenser mic for the drums. The guitar and bass will both be coming from XLR, DI signals, and then obviously 2 live vocal mics. So he's got mono drums, guitar, bass, and 2 vocals. My thought was to put both vocals on one track and then the bass, guitar, and drums on their own tracks. What are your thoughts on this, and how might you route everything to make it work? Well, I would the 424. Jay and I did a video about it, recording drums with that. Basically, it's an input that goes directly to the master fader that's independent of the master fader, so you control the volume via your sub mixer or the mixer going into the sub input. So what you can then do is then enhance or add to the amount of tracks or channels that you can record with. So you can do a whole mix of just. I think if you can have that set up, I'd recommend mixing the guitar, bass, and drums onto that external mixer, and then you can also. Oh yeah, I mean you could do the whole thing via that, but also then you free up more channels and space on the 4-track in case you're going to be doing any kind of overdubs, which it sounds like they want to do it live. So I don't know. But the big thing with the 4-track is obviously you have 4 tracks to work with. And then you can either record all those tracks to like one mono track on the 4-track or stereo tracks,
I
having
have a
2 tracks
scary
open.
thought. This is what I would do.
Oh, let's do it.
If the band's going to do it live and they're willing to commit to the sounds,
Right, that's the big if.
then I would get a stereo pair up on my drum kit, get a good stereo spread, good stereo sound, tracks 1 and 2, and then I would pan my bass guitar slightly to one side or the other, and I would pan my regular guitar to one side or the other,
Nice.
and I would print all of that shit to two stereo tracks. And then you have room to put your vocals in on the two remaining
That's
tracks
dope. That's a
independently
dope idea.
so that you can control those levels because that vocal dynamic is going to be far wilder than that instrument dynamic ever will be,
Yeah.
especially if it's a
Well, that's why I
well-rehearsed
was
band.
thinking separate them. And the other thing too is like if he doesn't have the extra mixer, you
Yeah.
can probably still do that with because the 424 has up to six inputs at a time. So you'd still be able to essentially record everything onto two stereo tracks, and then like Jay's saying, keep the vocals independent. So
I mean, if you put, even if all you had were low Z inputs with no phantom available, which is basically where you're at, take
he's
a
gonna
pair
use
of,
a R tube MP for the.
but he's only got one of those.
Yeah, it sounds like yeah.
So if it were me, I would look into something dynamic and set up a pair of those around the kit and find the place where it sounds the best and the kit's the most balanced. It could be anything.
Yeah.
I mean, if what you got
It's
is
gonna come down to what they sound like in the room.
yeah, but if what you've got is SM58s, then move those around until you have an image that sounds like you're standing in front of the drum kit as best it can be, and just plug it in there.
Yeah, and if if you can't separate the instruments too, like bleed. Oh well, you said everything's gonna be DI, so actually, never mind.
I think personally I would avoid the DI too, since you're committing live to so few tracks. I would do everything I could to isolate and mic those two instruments.
Right.
The bass you could do DI, that'd be fine, I guess, but
I was almost gonna say too, like sometimes in those situations,
bleed is okay.
bleed can be a good friend. So
Yeah, especially, I mean, if you think about bleed as an extra instrument too, I mean, you could angle the amps towards or away from those drum mics to either beef up the sound or to null out certain things in the sound.
right.
That could really be a fairly powerful tool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options there then.
I mean, your track count is limited, so you're only going to be able to go so far, but I feel like if the stereo image on your drums is at least decent, then the rest of your recording will be pretty good too. Because drums really set the sound stage for everything else to fit, in my mind anyway.
For sure. Yeah. I think we touched upon that last week, either in the stream or the podcast too.
Yeah.
So we have a running theme here. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the truth of it, though.
Absolutely.
Mic up a drum kit, close mic everything, and listen to just the close mics, and then just listen to the overheads. Those overheads define the space and define what the drum kit actually is doing.
Right.
Whereas, like, a mono tom mic, it doesn't matter where it is in space, it's just going boom,
Yeah.
boom,
Whenever the tom is
boom.
hit. Yeah.
Who cares? It's shit. It doesn't define, there's no placement.
Right.
Even if you pan it, you
Right.
still got to have some kind of room in there to give your mind a place to put it.
Cool.
So yeah,
Awesome.
that's my thought anyway.
Well, Joshua, I hope
I
we
could be wrong.
gave you some good ideas there on how to approach it. No, I think that sounds cool. It sounds like he has an idea of what he wants to do. Maybe these ideas will spur him in the direction he's looking to go. And Godspeed, my friend. Best of luck. Happy recording.
Try to stay away from DIs though.
Okay, so James via email asks. This is one that came in right under the gun too. I think he knew that. Maybe he knew. Maybe it's coincidence, but. Another one of these. This seems to come up a lot, which is why I wanted to address it on the podcast. In relation to 4 tracks, I'm going back to mixed stuff I have recorded, and track 2 is crackling on every song. The crackle was not there while recording. Any idea of what I'm experiencing? I mean, it's tough to say exactly, not having heard the crackle, but with the experience and the amount of questions that come along with this specific question. Over the course of doing the channel or whatever, a lot of times this comes down to something wrong with the tape, something having your tape in between the recording. But if that's not the case, I would say, when's the last time you cleaned the heads on the 4-track?
I would go so far as to say that if it's doing it on track 2 of every tape, there's something wrong with the machine.
Well, he's saying that it's one tape and track two is crackling on every song.
but it's only a single tape.
Right.
So I would try a different tape and see what
Yeah.
track two sounds like,
Like
and
I
try
feel
to
like
rule
that's
out.
right.
It
That
could be that the something was wrong with the bias oscillator in the machine that you actually printed that on, and maybe track two was fucked up in a way that you couldn't hear it.
yeah,
Um,
because the other thing is with this question, we don't know how long there was between. Like maybe there was more recording done to the machine.
could
Uh,
be, but
so I
as
mean,
far as like the tape itself, I mean, if it wasn't
it's
there to
always
start
it's
with,
kind of always easy to troubleshoot the tape first because that seems to be 90% of the time people ask this
but
question. It's the tape.
but track two on a tape specifically would never go bad. You're talking about a stripe across the entire length of that tape that's 4 human hairs wide
Right.
being the only thing that went bad. Impossible. Impossible. Problems with the tape, striations in the tape always happen like this across the tape. They never happen across the whole length.
Right. Okay.
So if it stretched, whatever, if it moved or bent or got kinked or twisted, that's the whole tape. So I,
That's true.
I,
Right.
I suspect the electronics of one machine or the other are the issue.
Yeah, I would also just clean the heads too.
Definitely clean the heads. I mean that
I mean,
that should
those are
be a
the
given.
easiest things to troubleshoot is the tape. What because put another tape in is it does do the same thing, and
Yeah.
then if it does, then clean the heads, and then if you clean the
Right.
heads and it still does it, then you're going to want to call Jay or somebody like Jay to go further from there. But I feel like 90% of the time with these type of questions, it's always either the tape or the heads need to be cleaned. So
Yeah.
cool.
So there's that.
And then Matt in the chat. This is one we sort of covered already, but Schizo in stereo asks. This is a new segment we're doing. We might start doing on the podcast. It's called Jay. What up with that?
Oh man.
So
What is
Matt
up
in
with
the
that?
chat asks. I don't know. Matt in the chat says, I learned recently that analog music sounds like donkey turd through earbuds, but it sounds better than digital music with over-ear headphones.
We just covered this.
Jay, what up with that?
Yeah. Well,
Well, give us the paraphrase version because we.
the paraphrase version, I guess, would be that anything you listen through earbuds, by virtue of the size and construction of the earbuds, will be frequency limited. And earbuds have a really nasty habit of being real honky and squawky in the mid range too, on top of having almost zero bass in a lot of instances, and certainly no sub bass. When you get into digital music formats, the codecs that are used to compress and dither and whatever, affect those files so that they fit on all the streaming services and stuff, and onto CDs and what have you. There's all sorts of frequency limitation and effect that happens there too. So with an over the ear set of headphones, less frequency limited, you can hear things better. The sound stage is better. But if you're listening to garbage MP3s on it, then it's never going to sound good. I don't know. I feel like I lost
Cool.
lost track of the question. I'm not really too sure.
Oh, that's all
But
good.
but yeah,
I mean, yeah, maybe we can. Yeah, that's all good, man. I think. Yeah, that sounded like it covered it pretty well. I mean, we went to a lot more depth before.
I think basically the way that it boils down is that earbuds, regardless of what you listen to through them, sound like donkey poop. The ones that Matt is actually talking about are like the headphones that came with Walkmans in like the 80s and 90s, which don't sound great, but they're certainly better than even decent earbuds.
Right.
Better frequency response, certainly across the spectrum. Still limited, probably. I would bet that most of those headphones don't respond to much below, maybe 80 or 100 hertz or something like that. But earbuds fundamentally don't respond to much below, like, somewhere between 2 and 300, maybe
Oh
even
wow.
400 hertz. It's very, like, especially super cheap
So it's
earbuds.
cutting out the bass a lot.
It has to. I mean, if you think about that
Yeah.
thing's the size of basically like a giant pill, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
where's the low frequency
Where's the good?
response
Yeah.
coming from?
Mhm.
That little tiny driver is, a total of, 5/16 or something.
Yeah.
It can't reproduce
Can't. Yeah.
bass. I mean, you know, not in the quantity that the human ear requires to actually process it as bass anyway.
Right.
So, bass is all about moving air, and something that's
You can't move much air with that.
3 to 5/16, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, like a guitar speaker, a 6-inch guitar speaker
Sure. Sure.
that has bass for shit. That's
Great
limited
analogy,
at like, you're not getting a damn thing below probably 250 hertz there. But then when you get up into a 12, I mean that resonance moves down to 60 or 70 or something like that easily.
Yeah. Now
And
you
if
get
you
the
have
full picture.
if you have a well designed and ported cabinet, then even something like a 10 will really pack a good low end wallop. But it comes down to the efficiency of the driver, the efficiency of the cabinet, and the design of both, and how they're integrated. But anyway, that's beyond the scope of the question.
That's a good analogy. I think that's a great analogy, though. So, Jay, thank you for answering. What up with that?
That's what's up with that.
All
What
right.
is up with that?
What is up with that? Man, the rain is coming down right now outside the studio. We're going to be wrapping up this episode.
Speaking of wrapping up,
Oh, what's up?
we were talking before about that reggae dub song.
Yeah.
I forgot that I dropped rap verses on that.
Oh, we're going to have to check
I
that
forgot to
out.
play that for you. Should we do that after the podcast,
Let's do it. Yeah.
or you want to do it now?
Let's do it after.
All right.
Because we're going to be running over our 30-minute episode length here. Or maybe you could play us out with it. How about that? Okay, so thank you guys so much for taking a listen to the podcast. This is episode number 2, and it's been another episode of the 424 Recording Podcast. Subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email recording questions for the show at 424recording@gmail.com, or leave a comment on Instagram or YouTube at 424recording. And don't forget, you can catch the live stream of the podcast Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and hang out for the after party, which is about what we're about to kick off with this rap reggae track. This is Mike from 424 Recording.
And Jay from Operation Audio in the Hemisphere.
That's right. And if you want to contact Jay about fixing anything, or you have any questions for Jay, hit him up, operationaudio@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And this is Mike reminding you to make sure you do something you want to do today. And happy recording. Peace. All right, you want to play us out, Jay? Rap reggae track?
Oh, I'm not ready. You're catching me off guard here. Hold on, I'll find it again. Wait.
We have one less. John Pittman, Jeb, a longtime viewer of the channel, and
What do you have to say?
he said, "I'm proud of you boys for staying in the cut and delivering a worthy podcast."
Oh, what?
We're trying, John. We're
We're
trying.
trying. Let me find this track again. God, I wish I was ready. I'm not. I'm not ready.
Oh, you could send it to me, and I could put it on the end of it.
I'll just put it in here. I got it.
Task fam slowly taking over. Oh, Twin, another one of our listeners has come in. Late bro is here.
I don't know
Welcome.
why it won't open. Oh, there we go. So, on this track,
The self-appointed savior seeks to deceive and tell you what you must believe. When his life is done, there'll be no reprieve.
Is this your verse coming up?
I think so.
Calling their behavior religion is not a free pass. You're lacking in knowledge, you're lacking in class. And if you make waves,
This is like some Beastie Boys shit, man. This is great.
So, yeah. There's another one later on, but
better rule in hell than to serve it.
I'm digging this, man.
Angels roll stage, guys.
All right, guys. This is Mike and Jay. 424recording.com, operationaudio.com. Nice.
all right. Peace
We'll
out,
catch you on the flip flop,
podcasters.
all right? Peace. Dope. All right, and we're out. Yo, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that installation. Episode number 2. It'll be up everywhere tomorrow, 8 a.m. So if you listen to the podcast, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform. If not, I mean, you guys are catching this on the stream. But it's turning out to be a great. I got a lot of great feedback from people this week about episode 1. A lot of people are. A couple guys were just happy to hear that we're doing one, and also a lot of people. My friend Sean was saying, who did the theme song, he's excited to listen to it too because he can't always watch. He doesn't always have time to watch videos, but the passive experience of podcasts, meaning you can put them on when you're doing laundry, your dishes, going for a run, driving to work. It's those passive hours that we have to listen to content. Not everybody can play a video, and YouTube is kind of funny about having the audio in the background if you have to have the video open. So it's just another way to have a condensed version of what we're doing here on the stream.
Yeah.
Out there in social media land, I guess, for people to check out. So this is fun, man. I fucking love the podcast. Is so much fun, and that's only episode 2. I'm really feeling like
I could never actually do a podcast because I
we just did. We just did. We done.
yeah,
we
but,
already
but
have.
I mean, on my own, like when we really get, you know how it goes when we get in deep into conversations and discussions about things. Like how in the hell would you ever edit that down to
That's why
25
I'm like
minutes? Like
I'm trying to like keep it like
we did one a
Like,
bunch of
right
years
on
ago.
that.
We did
Oh,
one
really?
a bunch of years ago.
You never
Yeah,
told me that.
It was like a pro weed podcast, and it was like
What?
yeah.
I never heard about this.
So the first episode of that podcast was 3 hours long. I cut it down by half, and it was still like 3 times too long for
Yeah.
the streaming services. So it went out
That's-
as 3.
Yeah.
It went out as 3 parts.
That's
But,
why like I didn't mean to cut you off at the end. It's like or like seemed like we were speeding along. It's just like because I don't know with the way you upload it and everything. It's like my kind of pod, huh? It's like yeah, that's the interesting idea about the podcasting format too. Is like to pay to host them too. It's like I mean Anchor is great because you can just put them up there, but
Yeah.
also just the format of it. I mean, I noticed that like half-hour podcasts are usually like a great length for somebody, and unless you're like a pro podcaster, I don't know. This is my opinion. It doesn't mean shit, but unless you're like I don't know, like Mark Maron, who's got his whole shtick and his thing down and been doing it for years. It's like, I don't know. I think the 30-minute. A lot of the ones I like, aside from WTF, are all like very 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's like a quick snap of something, and then on to the next one. And I think that's always fun. So, what do you guys think? You think 30 minutes is a cool thing? I think that's gonna be, and obviously the live stream, if people want to catch it for longer, I think that's what's cool too. They both kind of inform each other, and then people can check out the live stream, come through questions, or if they want more, they can come by for the live stream on the channel. So it's kind of the people that won't catch the stream can catch the podcast, and then you guys that are all here for the stream can experience the podcast. And it's also basically the same thing as the stream, and that's why I was like,
Yeah.
we got to just start doing something that's like a quick snippet of the live stream as like a podcast. Because the streams go on. Sometimes their streams are like 2.5, 3 hours. So
I was just Googling the podcast that we used to do, but
what is it called?
it was called Out the Closet. And it was, what the hell did the guy
This
go
is crazy
as?
to me, man.
Well, this guy I
Because you
know
never
used
told
to
me
be
about this.
this guy I know used to be a grower, and he used to write for High Times.
What?
And a friend of his goes by Kyle Cushman. He was also a guest on it a bunch of times.
Carl Cushman?
Kyle Cushman, yeah. But yeah, it was talking about the autism research with weed and stuff like that. And then it was a whole bunch of people sitting around a studio just bullshitting and whatever. I had to run through my Altec 1220 mixing board. Like, those were the days, man.
Yeah, how did you have it? Did you have like each person had a mic or like? Because like some of the ones I listen to, it just sounds like they have like this kind of like live setup, and they're just like.
I gave everybody a mic.
And then put them through the mixer.
Yeah, they went through the mixer, and I took a mono out of the mixer, but I also took individual track outs on the mixer, just in case.
Yeah, backup. Yeah.
Yeah, safeties, because some of the people would there'd be a lot of like talking over and stuff that I'd have to go back in and fix later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a cool format. I really like podcasting, and
yeah. I mean, it was all right while we were doing it. It was kind of fun.
yeah, it's a definitely a fun thing to do, and I don't know, it's a great way to get in on a conversation if you want to listen to something passively, and you don't have a chance to sit down and watch something, you don't have a chance to I don't know, you don't have the time. It's like in the that's what they said. Like the beauty about podcasting is like in our American culture where everybody's doing a million things at once.
Yep.
Now you can do another thing, and it fits in perfectly with the speed of American culture and like people wanting to do multiple things and
Right.
so I don't know. I think it can be cool. I think it's great for like driving to work and being able to curate your own rather than listen to a bunch of shitty commercials on terrestrial radio these
Or
days.
terrible,
Yeah, that
terrible
too.
songs, terrible commercial
Yeah,
songs.
it's like, and just skipping through channels and shit looking
Yeah.
for something that's like halfway gonna like not make you wanna whatever. I think that's what's cool about everything in today's world. I was actually talking this with my friend Sean today. It's like you can really curate your own experience with when it comes to social media, and you have to because there's a lot of bullshit out there, and it's Jay's doing his classic neck crack
Yeah.
because of this damp out, right? Is that bothering you?
I don't know, because my neck always is tight, fucked up. I
So-
keep all my stress in there.
Shit, man.
But yeah,
So it's a cool format. I'm really happy to be doing it. I always wanted to do it for a long time. It's something I talked about on the stream a lot and on the channel, and it's cool. It feels like something's coming full circle. It's like yes, and it'll just evolve with each one we do too. Yeah, I think it's cool. We'll keep it loose. We get questions, cool. If not, we'll do it to it. Capro is like getting
passed out on the basket
real
with
cozy
one
over
hand
there.
hanging off the edge.
He's been chilling on there the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was dreaming before, and he was digging into whatever. There's a piece of fabric sticking out the edge there.
Oh, he was like,
his paw was going in it.
oh man, that's so funny. I didn't see him doing that. Yeah, he's just chilling over there. Cool. It's a great day for a nap. It's like super dreary and.
It's actually not raining out right now.
Oh, it's not.
Uh-uh.
I was getting that's the other reason I was like shit. If we have like a thunderstorm and this goes out like mid podcast, like.
I'm really actually kind of hopeful that it doesn't rain like after the tail of this. But
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if we're gonna.
What
I
do
don't know
you?
if we're gonna brave a walk today or not.
Oh yeah. Well yeah. We'll see if we'll play it by ear. It's still going
But-
good.
Either way, I'd rather not drive home than torrential downpours.
Yeah.
Worst case.
Especially in the dark.
Yeah, especially at 80 miles an hour.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling, man? I mean, if you want to try to, do you want to end early? Do you want to?
Oh, I don't care. I'm cool.
Because it seems like there's a.
Yo, I'm cool. You know.
Cool. All right. Well, let's. Oh, okay. Look at this. So we got this back from James. He was the guy that was asking about the tape crackling. He said, "I haven't cleaned the heads in a little while. It just didn't occur to me that it could be strictly Trax 2's head. I'll clean her up." I don't know. Sometimes it seems like there's like a little bit of some shit on there that could be because like the head is. If you ever look at the 4-track head, it's like the 4 separate.
Yeah, and the head also does not wear evenly across. You would think that it's a flat thing, even though it's curved looking at it that way.
Yeah.
You would think that it's flat this way, but really, because of the way that tape tension is functioning,
Yeah. It's like.
the wear is harder in usually in the middle than it is to the outside edges, but also you can't print as hot to the outside edges. So because the tension is different. So yeah, I mean the tape heads, and it's actually visible. You can see it on like a 24-track head stack.
Yeah.
Like you can see how the center is worked more than the outside, and
Well, I hope that it sounds like he's gonna clean it up. So we'll
I would definitely clean that and see what happens, because
maybe we'll have an update. It'll be like Unsolved Mysteries when they update the mystery the next week or weeks later.
update.
What is his name? Robert Stack.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking badass.
Jenna Kropinski
Grade A badass.
was found and alive and well in Salt Lake City, Utah, living with a
She,
coven of misogynists.
she's been missing for.
Yeah. One day she drove her scooter to the train station. She was never heard from again. Love that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I don't know if is he still alive?
No, he passed away.
Did he?
Yeah.
I know on Netflix there's like 5 seasons of
Dude,
that.
I started going through some
Yeah.
of those. Yeah, there's some heavy shit.
There was a Kurt Cobain one. I was trying to find it.
There was, yeah.
I was trying to find it, but Netflix, I don't know, like the way the seasons are laid out, it wasn't where it should have been.
Weird. Yeah, there is something weird about that. Have you ever seen that Kurt Cobain documentary that was on Netflix? I don't know if it's still on there.
I think I've probably seen all of them.
It's really interesting.
Which one?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get like, well, who cares? It's the one that's like,
It's the one with like all the cartoons and shit in it?
no, it's the one that has like all the reenactments, and it's it basically just goes through the whole timeline of like what was
Montage of Heck. Was it that one?
I don't know. I think it was done by the guy who was like the investigator.
Yeah.
Is that one? Yeah. And yeah, I mean, by the end of it, I was kind of convinced that
I've been convinced of that since 1994 when I wrote that private investigator a letter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I never told you that story?
No.
Oh, man.
This seems like a good
Tom
time.
Grant, yeah. Someday I'll go into the storage in the top of the last cottage at my house and find all that stuff. I'll show you. But yeah, I think I was like 11 or something. I wrote that guy a letter. Yeah. I got a response back with a signature on it. And
What
shit.
did he say?
Basically answered whatever questions I had and then included you could order the printed case manual at that time. It was like a spiral bound book that had all of his
Crazy.
notes and all the shit in it.
Yeah, I mean, after I watched that, I thought it was pretty damning.
But that was like, that manual was $150 like in the 90s,
Whoa.
which at 11 years old,
It's a lot of
I'm
longs.
not even sure I had $5, let alone $150. Jesus.
Game Loser chiming in on the tracks and the head cleaning. He says the manual says to clean like every time. That's true. That's probably excessive, but for the long term, absolutely. That's the thing is like it definitely they were like really hyperbolize and exaggerate that, and it's like they're like you better clean this thing, take care of this thing, and I guarantee like most people don't do that or never read the manual for it. I don't know. I feel like I'm being negative. Maybe everybody does that. But I don't really do it all the time either. I'm not like religiously cleaning it after every time. But if I have like a long session or reusing a tape or something, then of course like I'm always take a peek in there and see what things are looking like, and once in a while rub go over it with the Q-tip and see what comes off. Yeah, good call, Game Loser. Bobby Curved Heads. Freighter Tater, I think the Nirvana doc is washed in bleach.
Soaked in bleach.
Oh, soaked in bleach. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It takes 2 seconds in a Q-tip.
Yeah,
I do
soaked in bleach.
whenever I think of it. Yeah, that's same here.
That's the one.
Same here, Game Loser. Whenever I think of it, I'm like, yeah, I should do that. It really doesn't take long at all. Can't hurt, Matt says, yeah. Soaked in bleach. That's the one that granted? Yeah. That's a great doc. I recommend that. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, we're getting a lot of messages. We're getting a lot of questions. I think I'm gonna put together some kind of FAQ for like 4-track stuff, because there seems to be a lot of questions that come through that I don't know, a lot of people have, and I think that's kind of the great part about the channel and the niche that the channel fills is that people can have a forum to ask those type of questions. But I want to make some kind of PDF or maybe just a web page or something that's just like, here's what up, and compile all the questions so that people could just, direct them to the FAQ and say, most likely this will answer your questions. So that'll be fun. That'll be a fun one. Bleach is Nirvana's best album. Haha. That's what Game Loser said. I'm partial to In Utero. I gotta be honest. I mean, I love them all, but El Duce from the Mentors was offered 50 grand by Courtney Love to kill Kurt. Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
And so was Alan Wrench. And Alan Wrench is suspected actually of having killed El Duce also.
Well, yeah,
But
because he died like not shortly after that, right? El Duce.
yeah,
He like had this mysterious accident.
yeah, where he was hit by a fucking train.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. I don't even like talking about it. It gives me the willies.
Yeah,
Ugh.
El Duce was a fucking mess. But
Only thing that makes me laugh for than skiz. Yeah, that's what I think sometimes too, Bobby. He said it would be crazy to find out later if it was all true about Courtney. I wonder if that'll ever come to the surface or at some point. I mean, yeah, that would be.
it'll never come to the surface.
You don't think so? You think she'll take that to the grave if
Yep.
that's what happened?
Yep.
Ah, so fucked, man.
Um, there are a lot of things that point in her direction or into somebody's direction. There's also speculation that because Kurt was,
He's getting ready to leave her, right?
well, he also wanted to end the band actually,
Wow.
which would have caused a right kerfuffle for David Geffen. So people like David Geffen also have motive.
I
But
do think
who
Nirvana
knows?
had broken up, though.
What?
No, Bobby said I do think Nirvana. Yeah, I didn't hear about that part of it.
The there were a lot of notes and letters and answering machine messages left for a whole bunch of different people, basically to the effect that he didn't want to be in a band anymore with those guys.
Oh, really?
Doxing and rehab and all that kind of stuff, where you dredge up all the shit and make it somebody else's fault.
Yeah, because I remember there was like one of those last interviews with him. He's
Well, I mean, I think Nirvana actually really showed its truest colors on Incesticide, commercial release wise. Um, all the covers, but also that record contains basically every direction that band ever went in.
Hmm.
And obviously it's just a showcase of B-sides and shit, so whatever, but um, yeah.
crazy, man.
I mean, the last thing that Kurt Cobain was known to have been working on or to have recorded was a session in his garage with Patty Schemmel from Hole playing drums, Pat Smear playing guitar, and he himself, I believe, playing bass and singing.
Hmm.
And that was like a thing. But
Whoa, I never heard that.
yeah, those are the last known recordings. And it's like 4-track boombox, some kind of shit. But
What?
that has yet to surface, as far as I understand.
Damn, I would love to hear that.
And Dave Grohl also was already working on the Foo Fighters material by
Right.
that point.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think he was working on it for a while. Like,
well, he had like the Pocket Watch demos, like right around the time Nevermind came out. That stuff was floating around
Yeah.
on cassettes and shit. But
yeah,
Nirvana actually played at least 2 Foo Fighters songs in rehearsals
right.
before they
And
were.
I think some of the guitar parts too on
Well, like-
Naruto were Grohl inspired or Grohl's parts or something.
I don't know that I've ever seen him credited for playing guitar, but
Well, not playing guitar, but I mean, like,
he Nirvana jammed on Alone and Easy Target and Exhausted both. There are, if you search around the internet, you can find versions of those with Kurt Cobain bullshit and lyrics over the top of those songs, rough versions of those songs.
Capro dreaming again. I saw him twitching.
Yeah. But, whatever. That was a long ass time ago. And
Well, yeah, because I think Foo Fighters self-titled, right? Is the first one.
1995.
It's like I think they said it too. It was like culled from like 40 songs. So like there were songs the girl was writing for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he always played guitar sort of on the side and shit. And there were a lot of sessions like when Novoselic was playing, or Novoselic, I guess, depending. When he was playing accordion, Grohl always played bass. That was sort of like the swap off, especially when they would do like Sunbeam Live and stuff. It was, you but Dave also sang on some Scream records and stuff, so he was on vocals that far back, and certainly his backing vocals were strong when he came into the
Right.
Nirvana fold. So that's actually one thing that's missing from like Bleach and the Bleach era shows is the backing vocal and the harmonization and stuff. And I think that harmonization really came to full fruition by the time they hit In Utero. You watch In Utero tour footage and stuff like that. Those songs are, performed much more strongly that way, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with the added second guitar also.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Bobby said that. Did you ever see that Patty Schmeel documentary?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It hit
a
so
good one.
hard.
Yeah, that's a great one too.
Yeah, you can follow her on Instagram. She's here, there, and
She's
everywhere
still active
playing on
doing
stuff. And-
Yeah,
But she also she runs a dog walking service in LA.
that's cool.
It's dog walkers or something like that. Yeah. She's got a child. She and her wife have her brother was the whatever sperm donor, I guess. I don't know what the proper term is for that now. I'm sure sperm donor is not PC anymore, but
A surrogate, is that? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, whatever. They did in vitro with his
In utero.
his baby batter, and so basically she and her wife have a child that shares her bloodline. So that's
Cool.
that's pretty smart thinking, I felt. And yeah, she does session drums on stuff though. I've seen a bunch of things. But that really goes to show you too how how the industry worked at that time and how the industry that surrounded Courtney Love at that time worked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's some real heartbreaking stuff in that one.
yeah. I think the thing that pisses me off the most is that Francis Bean doesn't like Nirvana. That so rubs me the wrong way. Dick.
What is that? What is that saying? It's like you can't please all the people all the time or something like that. What is that
No.
saying?
You can please some of them some of the time, but you can't please all of them all the time.
Yeah, something like that.
Matt, the reason he went with Pat Smear was because of that mental imagery.
Yeah,
I mean, that comes from the Germs days. I forget what his real name is, but I think it's like something Greek. I forget. Like Giorgio or something. Something like that.
What's the band that Grohl played drums in before Nirvana?
Scream was the
Right.
last one.
Yeah, you mentioned
Prior.
that. I couldn't,
Yeah.
That's right.
But if you can find like the Dane Bramage tracks or any of that kind of stuff, it's pretty cool. It goes back a long way.
Matt is asking if he did that on purpose.
Yeah, he did that on purpose, yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know that. Pat's
Darby Crash, Pat Smear, Lorna Doom. And what was the other dude? Fuck. I always forget the drummer's name. Oh, man.
Don Bowles.
Don Bowles, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Don Bowles. He was just weird and from the Midwest and wouldn't go away, so he ended up being a germ, too. But I'm pretty sure wasn't Don Bowles also in like 45 Grave and a whole bunch of shit later on. I'm like almost positive. But yeah,
Oh, we actually have another question, Jay. I
oh, yeah.
forgot from one of my patrons. Well, I mean, I didn't forgot to do it on the podcast, but I thought this was an interesting one, and I think everybody in the audience is going to dig it too. Jody, our newest patron at patreon.com/44 recording, was asking. Um, I'm 20 seconds into watching it. I must have gotten lost in my brain. Oh, okay. Something else. He said, I would be interested in music Jay likes since he was outspoken about not liking anything new. This seems like a good segue.
Wait, say again.
I would be interested in music Jay likes since he was outspoken about not liking anything new.
Oh man. I'll have to compile you a list on that one.
Okay.
That's more than I want to get into, like on the live.
Cool. All right. Well, so maybe we'll work on that one for next stream. Cool. So what else is going on, guys? What are you up to, Twin? Are you still parking cars tonight? Yo, I just like. Oops. Yeah, man. I don't know. We're running out of steam, Jay.
Are we running out of steam?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting pretty tired.
Me too. Like
I just
all of a sudden I'm like, oof.
I just got a message though.
Bobby got a new Digitakt tape deck, and Bobby said he also doesn't like Grohl.
Yeah, I got a message about a show opening at the Moon in Newburgh on Saturday, so I messaged the band, and then Lucas just wrote me back and said that he got into a car accident on Saturday, and it's the first I'm hearing about it, or on Sunday rather. And it's the first I'm hearing about it, but evidently his car was totaled. So,
Fuck. I thought the Moon.
It's closing. This is the last show.
Oh, okay. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, this is the last show.
That sucks. That's a great place. Are they? They're. I think they're looking to relocate though.
Yeah, it sounds like they might. I'm kind of wondering what exactly happened, but anyway, back to the thing at hand. Yeah, Bobby, what's the Tiac tape deck you got? Is it reel to reel or is it cassette? Well, wonders never cease. Yeah, I knew dude broke his fucking phone, man, but
That's crazy, man. I guess he's okay though.
I mean, I guess so. I knew he, like I said, he put up a thing that he broke his phone or lost his phone or something. So
But so like, couldn't you still play the show? You just got to pick him up, or is he kind of saying that's game over for him?
it kind of sounds like
Matt's hoarding Nakamichis and Walkman. Yo, Matt, thanks again, man. I'm excited to get that Nakamichi. Gonna do a lot of cool shit with that. But yeah, what? So he won't be able to drive to the show or something?
I'm not really too sure. I'm trying to figure out.
A DR2, a DR3, and a CR1A, and 4 Walkmans. Wow.
Whoa.
Matt, you're going crazy, man. Crazy for tape, for those cassette tapes. That's sick. I haven't really come across any decks anywhere these days. I mean, not that I've been actively looking, but on the way to Hapro's house, there's this weird old. It's like one of these places that can only exist where it exists. It's like in the middle of like Ellenville,
Yeah.
and it's like this weird like variety store, but it has like a whole section that's just like used tools. It's almost like a pawn shop meets like a wholesaler.
It's like a junk shop.
It's a junk shop.
Yeah.
And so I was looking in there for tape decks and stereo equipment, and he had a couple decks. I think he had like a Pioneer or something. It wasn't anything like, I don't know. I wanted to check it out, but it was I didn't have too much time. I was kind of just ran in there because I always wanted to go in. It was never open when I went by it, but I'm gonna have to go back there and check out what kind of decks they had. They had a couple cassette decks, a couple amps in there. I don't know if any of it works or what the status is. I'll have to bring some tapes and check them out. Let's move some headphones, but I might start following your lead. Oh, he's sending one of the CR1As. Dope. I always had the Walkmans and with only the fast forward button.
Oh yeah, I remember those fucking things. My mom had one
How
that
did
was
you
like
play it? You just closed it and played?
No, it had a play button and a fast forward button, no rewind.
Oh,
So
okay.
the only way to get back was to flip tape.
Oh, I think I had one of those too. Now that you mention that.
They also used to make cassette decks for cars that you put the tape in and it didn't go in all the way. It like
Yeah.
stuck out a little bit and it would play it from there, however that worked.
I'm finding them cheap on eBay and rebelling them. People list them as non-functioning, and oftentimes they only need new belts. Nice, man. I mean, that's basically what happened with the one you're sending, right? Yeah, I had to flip over to rewind. Yeah, that makes me think of something. What are those tapes that you used to? So like when a car had a cassette deck, you'd put one of
Mm-hmm.
those tapes in it, and it had the wire, and then so you could play like a CD player or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen if you? I'm just trying to think like you could probably use that with the 4-track creatively somehow.
We
Or were you telling me about this?
we used them. Dave actually did this a lot, but we experimented with
Oh, maybe
putting them
that's
in
it's so funny.
a TIAC cassette deck and then piping stereo audio through it
Yeah.
because they smash and distort and get all fucked up sounding. when you
Right.
do
So
that.
like you can kind of,
It's crunchy as hell. It's really like
and
it's
then you'd
it's
send
an
it
effect.
back into the DAW basically,
Yeah, yeah. You just put it on
like
a loop.
route it. Yeah. Yeah, because I think that must have been where I heard that from, and then I think I also heard people performing with them because it's like a loop. So it's just like a looping tape. So you could like, I don't know.
Well, it actually there's nothing tape about it. It's a cassette head that's lined up.
Oh, I thought there's no tape in there.
No, it has a specific drag built into the little reels that are in it, so that the tape deck that it's inserted into doesn't keep trying to flip it like the tape is
Right.
stopped. But that's it.
Yeah, I gotta get my hands on one of those and experiment. That could make a cool series or a cool video for sure.
Yeah, it's a very interesting effect. Definitely, if you're trying to
Yeah,
experiment with crunchy things in a tape deck.
right.
Yeah.
Yo, Capro is like perfectly curled up right over there. The life of a cat, bro.
Bro.
Cool. Yeah, Matt. That's awesome, Matt. That you're rebelting those.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a market.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he said he's just finding them cheap on eBay
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
putting them back together and yeah. I mean, honestly, this is kind of the same thing with some of the 4-tracks. Like that used to be at least like people would, especially the Mark III 424, because of the disconnected power supply. You know, people lose the power supply, can't find it.
Yep, done.
Somebody comes across it a couple years later. Oh, what's this thing? Oh, wait, there's no power supply. I don't know if it works. Put it up on eBay, $10.
I sold a couple of pad mixers like that a few months ago. A little like 2 microphone input. They used to work. I don't know. I don't have the power supply, so here you go.
Right.
Like, I think I got what 30 or $35 or something for the pair of them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're gone. I didn't
Well,
have the power
yeah.
supply. The
Well-
guy that bought them had the power supply, and he left me great feedback. Hey, these work great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool, man.
Everybody
I don't
wins.
know. You know, whatever.
Everybody wins. Oh, Bobby coming out with a great question. What gear do y'all most want?
A 16 input Apollo and a new iMac.
Oh, nice, man.
Above all. Above all else.
Or make them and charge $100 damn bucks. I'm not sure what.
Wait, what are we making?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, Matt. What gear do you guys in the chat want? I was thinking the only thing I could come up with. Somebody was asking me this the other day on Reverb. I just want to get a snare drum. Like I was talking to you about this too, just because the one I have. Well, I use Hapro's for the videos, but mine, the one I have, I don't know. Although maybe I just need to change the heads. That actually could be a good series too. Oh, 44 power supplies. Yeah, I have. I actually snagged a DIN connector and a transformer. So whenever I get a chance to start putting that together, I was gonna ask Jay actually about
Would you get cold feet on that?
well, just like the cabling. I'm not sure what to use for that or where I can get it from.
I forget how many conductors it needs. I think it's just 3, right?
Yeah, I think so. Tascam 388, nice,
I think I actually would put that
Ah.
through.
nice, Jeb.
I think I would put that through cable that's meant for shit DMX, like what they control lights with. It's a 3 conductor shielded core with XLRs on it usually, but you can get the bulk, the bare cable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, where are you gonna get that? Lowe's or something, or
Marker Tech probably.
Marketing? Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, that was kind of the plan. Was
You could do it with a mic cable too.
oh really?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't
it
know.
doesn't push that much current.
I
So.
wanted to try to make the yeah, get that going. We have a lot of projects. We still have the Fostex David sent in. We gotta crack that open and see what up.
I would leave the Hot Rod Deluxe out of the situation. I don't know.
Jeb said, oh, he said, why the Tascam preamp? Of course. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's coming. We updates with that. Last week we updated with a pick. I'm going to be sending out another email. I don't know if you opened the last email about it. It might be in your promotions tab of Gmail. We got to get something going with we got the enclosures screened, and they sent us a picture, a very strange picture.
Yeah, but no delivery date as of
But
yet.
no delivery
Still.
date. So I'm gonna get on them because we're like 2 weeks out now of our deadline. So not cool. We got to get the parts list together.
Well,
That we
yeah.
can do. Twin wants a Tascam 30A8, a vintage Super Reverb. Hey, I got one, and a vintage. Oh, nice.
Matt, I've worked on way too many Hot Rod Deluxes and seen way too many of their inherent issues to ever recommend one of those to somebody.
We were just talking about this when you came here.
Yeah, that's a 5-year amp. So if the one you're looking at is over 5 years old, don't buy it. Don't even bother.
Planned obsolescence.
They build them with Illinois capacitors, which are junk. There are underspec resistors in there that will have to be replaced. The ribbon cables go bad. Man, any number of things. There's a whole list of shit that has to be done to those. The
Talk
input
me out of it,
jacks,
because I'm guessing.
the input jacks break off of the board, so there's a whole mod for that.
Nice, Bobby.
There's a bright cap in there you can clip out to sort of settle the tone out some because they're bright.
Yeah, you're better off taking that money and investing in a vintage amp at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't. Yeah, there's a lot of maintenance issues with those things, definitely. But there's 1,000 of them out there.
Jeb, when is your new guitar gonna be put together? I remember you sent the pics of it. Bobby's looking for a Fender Telly and an old Bassman. He said LO DMX. I got that. Nice.
Yeah, I'll put it to you like this: the Hot Rod Deluxe, if that's really the sound that's like gonna do it for you, that's great. But just purchase it knowing that these things are gonna come up because they do.
Any 112 or 212 amp recommendations? What about like a one of those like JCM 800s from like the 80s? Those are like 112s.
I would look into
Might not be what you're going for.
either silver face Fender stuff, or if you're willing to go the extra bit, go to the Rivera era Fender stuff.
Under 25 watts.
Under 25 watts, so that's putting you in Princeton or deluxe territory someplace. There's the Rivera series put a 2 after everything, so there's like the Champ 2, the Princeton 2, the Concert 2, there's a whole bunch of different things. And those are pretty solid. But if it was me, I would be looking at Silverface,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Princeton's or Deluxes.
Especially if you don't need the reverb, you could definitely save yourself a nice chunk of change because for some reason everybody wants Princeton reverb, but
Yeah,
not as much love for the plain old Princetons.
yeah, yep, definitely. And with the Princeton's, you can put a conversion baffle in it and get it up to a 112 also because Princeton only have a 10. But you know, that would be my
And we're
recommendation.
talking vintage ones.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But and like
Somebody
the
yeah, because they're the same. The new ones are the same exact thing as the Hot Rod Deluxe 5-year amps, as Jay was saying.
yeah, basically all the Fender shit is built
I
that
haven't
way now.
heard anything good about those new guys.
No, and the way they pack shit in there is not conducive. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Jeb said he got the body and neck for his guitar. They did a great job. Now off to luthier. Nice, man.
Keep searching. Don't need reverb. Yeah, if you don't need reverb, I would look for the non-reverb
Princeton, yeah.
Princeton and see. There's also what the hell is that one? Is it
Vibro Lux.
The Vibra Lux? Was that the one without reverb?
That's the one where it's like offset.
No.
Vibro Verb. No, Vibro.
Vibra Verb has reverb.
I think Vibro
That's right
Lux.
in the
Yeah.
name.
But the thing with the Vibro Lux are a little bit. I think they're rarer, so they fetch a little bit more. Oh, Jeb has a good story about his blackface Princeton clone. He said I have a 12 in my Princeton. I love that amp. That's cool, man. I'm glad that that's working out.
Yeah, the 12s with the Princeton circuit are actually fucking amazing. That's some of the best sounds. Um,
Freighter Tater says they would love a Dave Smith OB6. What is that one?
I don't know that.
Check that out.
Yeah, I gotta jump out for 1 second.
All right, Dave Smith OB6. Yeah, at one point I think you guys know I was gassing for the Dave Smith Roger Lynn creation. I don't even remember the name of it. That's how badly I wanted it. Roger Lynn Tempest. I was gassing for that drum machine synthesizer, and I'm glad I didn't get it. You know, I went with my Digitakt, and I've been in love ever since. So, you guys probably know that tale. That's a tale as old as the live streams. So it's funny. But yeah, I'm sure the Dave Smith stuff is great. Like oh yeah, that looks nice. Polyphonic analog synth, beautiful. Wow, that's cool. I love the look of that. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Bandmaster doesn't have verb. That's true, right?
Bandmaster's
Oh, Vibrolux has reverb.
Bandmaster's 50 watts though.
Oh yeah, Twin
40
Twin
watts.
should know. Twin reverbs are loud.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with a twin. You want to keep it small, go with, like I said, Deluxe or something like that would be.
Yeah, Bobby, the Tempest is very expensive. I was looking into getting a used one for a while. I'm really glad I never pulled the trigger on it. I wasn't too happy with I don't know. Just the support of it. I didn't seem like after a while I was like I don't know about this one. It sounded great, but I'm really happy with what I chose, which was Digitakt. And I got it locally, and I got it for a good deal, so no complaints. Bobby said no reverb. Why would you not, JK? You know what's funny is like even in my super reverb, I actually took the reverb tank out
Yeah.
to lighten it, just because like I don't know the stuff I'm playing it's not really necessary, and also I don't know. I figure the room reverb wherever we play is dope. I don't know, or not dope, but I don't know. A lot of the stuff I play too is like is very fuzzed out and distorted, so it doesn't really always play nice with reverb. Although reverb is really cool to thicken up clean stuff. If you set it almost like a short delay. Those brown face Princeton sound amazing too, more mid-rangey. I think the non-reverb amps are pretty badass. Yeah, I looked into it like a non-reverb Princeton a while ago when I was Mr. Moneybags. It was a long time ago. The white knob ones, those are pretty dope. They're like, I forget what year they are, but I don't know. I got too much stuff. I don't need anything else. Do you know a cheap Lindrum alternative? I would say the DM1 drum machine app has really good samples on it. And Jeb, I think, said he has some samples for you, which I think he sent to me, which are really great. So definitely hit up Jeb, Bobby, or John. His nickname is Jeb, I think. John Jeb. So yeah, hit him up. He's got some cool samples for that. Freighter Tater, what's the most you would spend on a Princeton? I don't know what the running price is these days.
Which era?
Yeah, I guess
I mean,
it
on
depend on the
a
year.
silver Princeton non-reverb, I wouldn't spend more than $700 or $800. A blackface non-reverb, you're probably looking at 1,000 to 1,200, depending on the shape. The reverb models of those, I would add, probably $300 to $500 on top of those prices. If blackface, anything is going to cost you more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think the one I was looking at, that White Knob one, I think it was like they were wanting, it was like a Guitar Center or something. They wanted like a K, I think, and that was a couple of years ago, and I just felt like it was too much. I didn't need it or want it that bad. But I would check Guitar Center used though. They do have good prices on used gear these days. I don't know. I find some good stuff on there from time to time, but obviously it's a little bit different with a tube amp. So, uh, you know, what is it? YMMV.
your mileage may vary.
Yeah. Yeah, Freighter Tater. Tempest has too many bugs. That's exactly why I decided not to get it. I kind of felt like the Tempest, in theory, seems like an amazing unit, but like in practice, it just didn't seem like it hit the mark. And also, um, I wasn't. I don't know. It sounds silly, but like the videos they put out for it just seemed kind of half-assed, to be frank. And comparing that with like the Electron stuff, even though it's digital, I could still sample analog things and use them as samples. I know it's a different way of creating drum hits and drum kits, but it just made more sense, and like it just seemed like a lot less buggy and more thought out, and really, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what Electron is known for these days, is like really good rhythm drum machines and drum computers and DAW-less jamming. Um, Bobby said I drench everything in reverb. I know I probably overdo it. Yeah, I try to overdo it too, like with distortion. So maybe just dial it back a little bit, and you'll be golden. Jeb said that damn guitar on Little Wiser, so thick and heavy. That champ with those lipsticks sounds good, Mikey. Jeb, actually, interestingly enough, I mean, it does. The champ and the lipsticks is money. You can hear it in the TaskFam demo videos, but that actually is the lipstick through the Sans amp that I have. Again, that's like my go-to unit.
Yeah.
That's just direct into the 4-track, actually, the Wiser. But yeah, the something about the lipstick. I'm excited for you, John. Once you get those set up. Yep, just a single. That single guy over there. Yeah, one well placed pickup sounds here. That's always said. I think the magic too with this guitar is the hollow body, semi hollow body nature of it. Like, it's super light, and it's like,
Chambered and masonite.
yeah,
Yep.
there's almost like a really musical quality to it, even unplugged. It's like very. I don't know. I feel like that's always been a good way to pick a guitar, is listen to it unplugged, especially electric. If it sounds good unplugged, it's going to sound great when you plug it in. And I don't know, there's something really cool about it. Just always dug that one. Works for me. If it works, don't fix it, right? If it ain't broke. I must regret putting so many in my new guitar plan. I wanted as many options. Hey, well, live and learn, right? And I don't know. This way you can mix and match and see what you like. Maybe you can use them for different situations. Bobby, I love me some reverb. So you're in good company. Also in the reverb club. You guys are, yeah, I'm down with the reverb. I just, I don't necessarily need it for the type of stuff I'm doing. I would love to be like in a surf rock band or something like that. Oh, Jay, we got a question. Can you recommend a good spring reverb convolution sample and a good plate reverb?
Hmm, I don't know of any commercially available. Honestly, I wouldn't know where to guide you as far as that goes. I mean, I don't know if it's not technically a convolution. I guess I use the lexicon stuff a lot, but they don't. Lexicon doesn't do a spring. The lexicon plates are really good though.
Hmm.
For the spring, I always run outboards. I don't know. I'm not sure like what the
Yeah, so
who the makers would be of the patches or whatever for that.
good plate reverb. I know Sound Toys came out with the little plate. That thing sounds fucking sick. I don't know, but that's a the Sound Toys plugins, man. They're fucking great. I don't know. I really like them.
Well, they Sound Toys makes those plugins based on millions of dollars worth of gear that they're continually acquiring. So
Right.
you know,
Well,
I
David,
mean,
your brother
yeah.
he brought the plate that they use or something, right, to make the little plate or he brought. I remember him telling us or telling me he brought a piece of equipment there recently.
Recently it was the fucking Helios, the
Oh,
Type
that's gotta
69.
be what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that. So
If you get the Helios plugins, that's that Sound Toys is making. That's based on the console that was at
yo, Sound Toys.
Waterfront and then was at
Oh,
Sound
okay.
City and is now in New Hampshire at Sound Toys or Vermont or whatever the hell it
Vermont.
is.
Yeah,
Vermont.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that's a pretty sweet plugin. I think it's called the Little Plate. I mean, the whole package of all those plugins are fucking dope. Um, yeah, I guess it does have that DI sound. Now that I think about it, it's that 44 preamp. Yeah, it's like the gain stages of the Sans amp, and then into the 424. Like that's kind of the
The Sans amps have their own sort of like universal density anyway. It doesn't matter what you plug them into. Really. I mean,
Oh yeah, I was playing. I played a couple shows with Pat. I think with the drum machine before we were jamming, and I was
yeah.
like one of them. I just like plugged directly into that, and then just like fucking plugged into the PA.
Mm.
Because at that point, I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to fucking
It
carry
works
anything.
fine.
It sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that was like
The
half of
whole
the.
idea. It's all the Sans amp.
Well, yeah. The original Sans amps, the marketing was that DIs in studios mostly sounded like shit and cost, or good ones cost a lot of money. So they were trying to sell it as like the plug-in solution,
Right.
plug-in connection style solution, so that you could put basses and guitars and shit right into the console, and it would theoretically sound better than the amp.
Hmm.
Which I don't agree with, but I think they definitely have a sound and a very big texture of their own that
Yeah.
is.
Definitely a great color.
I like it in a blend, especially.
It was just compelling to me at that time as I was like kind of phasing out of live stuff at the moment. It was like
Yeah,
I didn't want to fucking lug my super reverb over to play like 15 minutes. It was like, what's the point? So
I would have brought the champ and just run a mic
I
off.
actually
the PA.
ran the champ over here and it just wasn't loud enough. And they
Gotta
weren't mic
hook
and
it to
stuff.
the PA, man.
Yeah, there wasn't the sound. Yeah,
Over here?
yeah, up here it wasn't like
Oh yeah,
they don't. It's not like
that's because they don't have anybody there that actually knows how to run shit.
exact. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sammy said I own the two pickup version. It's easily one of the best sounding guitars. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
I've seen
lipsticks
those.
are definitely a big part of the tone there, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something like very brassy about those pickups to start with that adds a lot of that character.
For sure. Anyone make a good tri-chorus pedal? I'm not even sure what that is.
I'm not too sure either.
Oh, Jeb said I think I saw that Sound Toys. It was free for a while, but now it's pricey. Oh, really? Yeah, I think I got it. An email about I downloaded it for free.
What was it?
The little plate.
Oh.
Jeb said they had a free thing, and now it's pricey. I'm wondering how much it is. Little. But I mean that one, the little plate. I mean, I just feel like they know what they're doing over there. But let's see. Oh yeah, it was introduced in November. Oh yeah, it's $100 now. Wow. The lush sound of plate reverb with a modern twist. I don't know. I just like the interface of these, the aesthetic, and
What's it based on? Does it say?
it says that we collected 5 EMT
Yeah.
140s from around the country, tuned them, checked them out, went to the chiropractor. Then we took our time.
Yeah.
They said that's 1.5 tons of plate reverb they got.
Those things are really ungodly heavy.
We took our time listening and testing, zeroing on a sound that we think captures the classic EMT 145, warm, rich, spacious, a little dark. Yeah, these are fucking cool. I mean, I don't want to get anybody's gas going, but just take a peek at this page. It'll be it's a great read. Not all plugins are created equal. That's my quick take on all this stuff. Digitakt Polara uses Lexicon reverbs, and there's a nice trippy spring in there. Sammy, what's going on? Oh yeah, the Digitech hardware series, I think. Is that the one where you can put in like an SD card, or am I thinking of something else? I just got the new EHX Oceans 11. That has
Oh,
a
yeah.
badass new spring algorithm.
People really seem to like that one.
Hey, I mean,
The Ocean's 11, for most people that don't know, is on a very long back order. So if you got one, you're lucky. There's some part in that pedal, my rep wouldn't tell me what it is, but one of the parts in that pedal in the middle of the production run ran out, and there's a serious lead time issue.
Oh,
So those will be on back order.
nice score, Matt. Yeah, I mean the Holy Grail, man. That was always a fucking sick pedal for like a digital pedal. That sounds great.
I sold the fuck out of that.
Oh, I
pedal.
sold mine too, but
It was cool though while it
I
lasted.
mean for like a digital reverb though, like that thing was great. It was great on vocals. Like for what it like, I feel like that's just like it was a great reverb. Like compared to some of like I don't know, like the Boss shit I used to use. Like I mean, some of the '80s stuff was like very digital in like a '80s kind of way. But like then a lot of the later stuff just got like super tinny sound. I don't know. I always thought that was a great sounding pedal. The Holy Grail. My main spring thing I use is a Dan Electro Springer King. Basically just a spring reverb tank that you can put between your guitar. Oh, that's cool. Does it have a spring in it? Like if you jumped on the stage, would it like?
I don't know if that one does or not. If you jumped on the stage though, and it did have a tank in it, yes, it would rattle.
It
And
would rattle, right? Have you guys heard of Duster? Existence. Yeah, the band, right? If I use a reverb pedal as I send, can I put my EQ pedal in front of it to cut some of the lows, highs?
sure,
Like that Abbey Road style EQ before reverb. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. That's either a pre-emphasis or a de-emphasis, depending on what you're trying to make the reverb do. But yeah, actually, when you send out to like EMT plates and stuff in the studio, most of the time you EQ the send and the return.
Bobby said, I have to really stop watching pedal demo videos. Yeah. Have you checked out my free ebook on the cure for gas?
Is it
Check it
Beano?
out. No,
Is that how you cure
the
it?
cure for gear acquisition syndrome.
Hmm.
I have a key, but yeah, Beano will work for the other type of gas. A Keeley Seafoam Plus with a great dual chorus. Man, I've never heard of some of these. I've heard of Keeley, but Def Leppard's Hysteria. Must resist. Sorry.
Oh, we're at 9:04. Shit.
Oh shit! All right, we're gonna wrap it, boys and girls and people. I pre-ordered it. I got it 2 weeks ago. Nice, man. You should
Yeah.
throw that up on Reverb, man. See if you could cash out. No, that's cool. You got a rare one. The EHX Oceans 11. If you double-click the foot switch, it makes a sound like kicking a spring tank. What? That's really cool. That's so cool that they did that. Oh, Julian, what's up, my friend? Duster, I remember bringing them up a while back. Well, that's right. I remember you bringing them up too. The band is kind of back together or whatever. They may be reissuing some stuff. Awesome. Thanks again, everyone. Had a great week, Enjoyed the show as always. Thanks, Jeb. Thank you so much for coming through, my friend. Task stamps are in the process. We're building them out, my friend. So we got to get. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna send Mammoth an email tomorrow. I'll just be like, "What up?" Because
Yeah.
the whole thing has been was very strange. So
Yeah, I'm not sure why there was that whole delay, and then
the
physical proof like that. It's fucking
picture
weird.
they sent us a picture. I don't know if you saw the stream or anything last week, Jeb, but basically the paraphrase is we got the picture. I think you were here. We got a picture from them. We didn't order a physical proof, but they sent us a physical.
Well, they didn't send us a physical proof. They
sent
sent
us
us
a
a picture of
picture,
a
a
physical
physical
proof,
proof.
which is fucking even worse.
Bizarre.
Yeah,
Um,
because we waited all that time for a physical proof that we didn't order, and then we didn't even get the physical proof. We just got a picture of the fact that there was a physical proof.
super weird.
I expected it to be like
Well, because
like
we were
here's
like,
the
"Where is
3D
it?"
render of a box, and here's what your graphic looks like on it. And I expected it like
Like a week later,
less.
and then
That's like it takes 5 minutes to plug it into your template and email it out thing.
yeah, right. Just to make sure that hey, it looks good.
Super weird.
Coke nail, yeah. We talked about the Coke nail last week. What did you say that thing was like a?
Yeah, it's a Coke now,
Yeah.
definitely.
But you're like I forget I forgot the exact phrasing you had last week, but I was like losing it.
Or a booger now.
I forget you did say that, but it was something I'll have to look at it. It's lucky they found the tapes. Duster's original label actually threw away the old stock of their albums and threw away. Oh my god, that sucks. That's horrible.
Oh man.
A picture of a guy with a party nail. Yeah, holding the enclosure. Always look forward to every Wednesday. Oh, thank you so much, Bobby. You're very welcome. Our pleasure. Seriously. I can't believe that those tapes got thrown out. That's nuts.
That is crazy.
All right. Well, make sure you like this if you like it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Yeah, thank you so much for all the questions for the podcast and checking out the live taping of the podcast, being here, showing us some emotional support for the podcast. And yeah, I'm glad that we're able to do it and that it's interfaced nicely into the live stream. And it's cool. So and if you're into podcasts, check it out on your podcasting platform. I'm pretty sure it's on like all of them now. And it should be on Spotify soon, on iTunes. So it's on iTunes now. I've been getting confirmation emails as it comes in. It's like it's available here. So awesome.
But it's over there now. Oh, where is it now? It's over here today.
What's that from?
Nothing. I don't know. I'm just making up shit. Doing weird voices, see?
That's from like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or something.
Oh man, I don't know.
A different label, weird. That's
Is
so
it lifting
weird.
drinks?
Yes.
Try some, Charlie.
Come by whenever, Julian. We'll be here, and don't forget you can check out the live replay
Podcast.
and the podcast. So
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
It's when I do a lot of voices just because I'm slightly unbalanced, I guess.
I think we all are.
I have a voice that's specifically for my cat.
Me too.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it starts to spill over. Like sometimes I'll
Yep.
say it to people in
Yep.
like, public, and they're
Yep.
like, "What's up with this dude?"
I also imitate a lot of my favorite lines from certain shows and stuff.
That's why that sounded like it was a quote from something.
No,
It sounded
but-
like it was from like Willy Wonka.
But every once in a while, I'll be in conversation and like a little Britain line comes out, or like something from like Burniston comes out, which is I think a Scottish show.
That's right. We're talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like all these little stupid catchphrases that I've collected.
Yeah, that's what Twin said. Me and my dad have our own language for our pets.
Yeah.
For sure. I think everybody does, man. It's like, how could you not?
I don't know.
Such cute little beings.
Fuckers.
Existence Duster used the Tascam Mark II on Stratosphere. Nice. Schizophrenia is contagious. It's coming from Matt. All right, well, take care, guys. We'll see you next week. Same time,
Email
same place.
him, email me,
Yeah.
like, subscribe, podcast, do all the things.
Do all the things.
Be
you
good
do.
to each other, be good to the people around you.
Hell
Make
yeah.
sure you do something you want to do as long as it doesn't affect negatively the people around you.
Exactly.
And make lots of noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freak
we'll
out
see
the
you,
neighbors.
Yeah. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Next
Oh, no.
Wednesday.
Will we? No. It's 4th of
Oh,
July.
I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah, so next week's 4th of July. You're going to be busy probably. I'm going to be busy probably. I don't know.
I mean, I don't do anything for holidays
Me
generally,
either.
but
I don't know. I feel like
but I don't know that I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I don't know that I'll be able to make it down on the
Yeah,
4th. Though.
yeah, I
I
don't know what's
suspect that
going
New
on.
Paltz is going to be a fucking zoo because of
Yeah.
fireworks and stuff. So I don't
So
know.
maybe we'll. I don't know. What should we?
Might have to like adjourn.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to try to catch it a different night, but we could put out a blast about that anyway.
Yeah. So keep an ear out. I guess next week if we can squeeze it in something a different night,
Yeah.
it'll be around the same time. But
Well, I mean, unless you want to do one on Wednesday yourself, it's up to you.
I don't
You'll
know.
already
I
be
guess it
here.
depends what I'm up to and doing.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, you can do what I did when I couldn't do it on that last Wednesday. Just give them an update, man.
Yeah, give them a quick.
That's all they
shoot out
want.
an
They
update.
just want
Yeah,
an
yeah.
update. They
Just
want to
wanna
know.
what's up.
They want to know that you're not dead and that you'll be there the next time because they still need you, man.
Yeah. That's what I
Still
should.
need
Yeah. All right. So next week it's going to be Independence Day in the States. It's probably you guys are. I think tonight are in the States, but so I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We
Yeah.
may be around. We may not. You're probably going to be celebrating in some sense.
I would think so.
So we'll figure something
Celebrating
out.
with inebriation.
Peace. Do something you want to do today. Do it.